Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. Here we are on another episode, drinking more beer and talking. How you doing tonight, Care?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm excited to have some, we're talking about Windmill tonight, and I'm excited to drink these beers.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited, even though we drove like all over creation to go get these, which is funny because like I proposed to you the idea that we stop at Windmill to pick up this beer, and I was like on the way.
Which is not even kind of on the way to where we're going.
And I'm like halfway there, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is so far out of the way. This is going to...
It doubled our time, yeah, for sure. It totally did.
And when we ran in to get the beer, I was just like, I made everybody ride all the way out here so that I could run inside and get this beer and pet that cat.
Yep.
And
we'll talk about it.
I know. It's just so, I just like...
Yeah, no. So we're heading up to Michigan with the kids for a nice weekend getaway because neither of us had anything going on and our husbands were working all weekend.
Yep.
So we're like, oh yeah, well, we drive through Indiana kind of. So we'll just take this hour-long detour.
Let's just stop at Windmill on the way. That's what I said. I was like, I'm going to put an order in at Windmill. Let's just stop there on the way. That's what I said. And Lauren just said yes.
I was like, sure. She was like, fine, okay. Whatever. It was cool.
It was something.
I mean, we got some Harold's chicken on the way.
That was good.
You know, it worked out fine.
Yeah.
It worked out
was
fine.
Starving. Lauren at one point was like, we need to feed these kids or they're going to freak out. And in my head, I was like, all right, I guess. And then I started eating, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm so hungry. If we didn't stop, I would be losing my mind right now.
Yeah, no.
I
was the voice of reason for that piece. But we did get some good beers in the process, so all is well.
Well, and I've been really wanting to feature Windmill, so I'm glad that we're able to have them.
Too.
And this would have been the only way. Making a stop at some point.
Literally, we have to drive there. So there's no other way to do it.
And at least in this occasion, it was at a time where we weren't needed anywhere else.
Nope, we weren't in a rush.
And we didn't get to the house in Michigan so late that everybody was just like
No, actually
wrecked.
They were fine, actually.
Yeah, they watched a movie when we got there.
Yeah,
we didn't even have to like put them straight to bed.
It all worked out. And now we drink.
And now we're going to drink 2 of by Citra, which is a New England IPA.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about it. I actually haven't had a New England IPA in a bit. I know you have, but I haven't.
Well, no, I actively avoided.
Oh, yes, true.
Having a New England at the brewery I went to, but I have tried this, actually. So you're not wrong. I have had one recently.
So I'm going to read this real quick, and then we're going to drink it.
Yeah.
This beer is all Citra hop aroma and flavor with very little bitterness. It's sure to please fans of any style, make some new converts, this is my favorite part, and continue to anger those who don't think hazy IPA should be a thing.
Yeah, there's quite a section of beer lovers that don't have love for hazy IPAs.
I frankly love any beer that tastes good. I will try even beers I don't typically like the style of. I'll give them a shot. But if it tastes good, then
I used to be particular in the sense that there were flavors. If I didn't like this flavor, I didn't like this beer.
Yeah.
And now I've really found that what it boils down to is I like flavorful beers. Yeah. So like something that's got a really plain taste doesn't really excite me. But that's the thing about hazy IPAs and New England IPAs in particular that really like blows me away is that they're usually chock full of flavor.
They're usually very flavorful.
Yeah.
And I actually, any IPA might be one of my favorite beer types.
I agree. It used to be my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
It probably still is.
It's definitely close for me. And I didn't love it at first. I used to like more kind of sour type, not necessarily sours, but like a Berliner Weiss or like a tart. But I really, really have beginning to love the NE IPA. So, all right.
Ooh, and it just smells
so
good. It's like opening a fresh bag of Halloween candy, and it just like the sweetness and the.
It really does. I love this. I love the aroma to it. This is good. I actually don't think I've had this before.
Okay, so I have truth time. We bought a 4-pack when we went to Michigan. This can is the last one.
Ah, so you have
because
enjoyed,
I just like could not stop drinking it.
It's really good.
Just
This
really,
is fantastic.
I think I drank the last one Friday or Saturday, like just a couple days ago. But I just love it. It tastes so good.
Yeah.
It's so rich and creamy, and it's just got like the right balance of the tart sweetness of like a citrusy.
Yeah, it's a little bit tart, not too bitter. It's got a little citrus, a great creaminess to it. Like it's a perfect. This is like a perfect NE IPA.
It's so good. This is what I'm talking about. This is how I don't understand how there are people who don't like New England IPAs. There's nothing not to like. This beer is so good.
Beer.
If you like beer and you don't like this beer, I'm sorry.
I don't think you like beer.
I'm not sure you understand what there is to enjoy about beer.
I thoroughly enjoy this. So all right, let's talk about Windmill for a minute. And then we'll continue enjoying this fantastic beer. All right, so Dyer, Indiana, just not too far over the border.
But far enough.
Opened in 2015. They had to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get approval to open the brewery. So they had 3 conditions. They had to limit their production. They have a 3-drink maximum for anyone there, which is still in place.
Wow, okay.
And they have to close by 11 p.m.
Okay.
So those were the 3 conditions for the zoning department that they could open if given these conditions. So so they did. They opened in 2015. Back when this wasn't even a thought in the founder's eyes. One of the founders was in grad school in the area and would spend his evenings actually at Three Floyds, studying, drinking.
I don't know if you noticed, we drove past Three Floyds when we were headed toward Michigan.
Yeah, we've been there, but it's been a bit, but obviously not anymore because they closed their brew pub or their tap room. But but yeah, so he used to go to Three Floyds during grad school. Of course, started home brewing in 2010, but then kind of stopped. So Justin is one of the founders, and he had 4 kids, so he took a break because he's like, I don't have time for this. I'm gonna become a systems administrator at a venture capital firm or something like that. And then in 2013, he saw a presentation, I believe, by someone that was from Solemn Oath out of Naperville, and he kind of picked it back up and decided that systems administration wasn't really his passion.
Sure.
So
I can see how maybe people would come to that conclusion.
Yeah. So him and two of his friends, Jeremy and Scott, decided that their passion was beer. Nice. And going through the ideas of how to open the brewery. Jeremy was actually helping out with One Trick Pony at the time, which is where they actually bought some of their first equipment.
Okay.
Was from them. Scott owned a farm stand, so, not in the brewery business, but in the, maybe ingredient type business. So they're all of Dutch heritage, which is where the Windmill comes from, is totally because of that Dutch heritage. They started canning on their own in 2016. They have very limited. Obviously, we had to go to the brewery to get any of their beers. And they became known for actually the next type of beer that we're going to drink, which is their meme-inspired milkshake IPAs.
Right.
So
yes, I'm familiar.
Yes.
Although I don't believe that I've had the one
I don't think I've had this one either. So after one of them saw a post from the Mad Fermentationist, they were like, "Can we do this? Do we think we can do this? All right, we're gonna try and do this." And then they started. They had one of their first milkshakes, and then Memes and Dreams was one of their big ones. That was in 2017. That was that long ago already.
Wow.
And then followed by mango, double mango, peach, double peach, pineapple, orange gummy bears, and then for their 4th anniversary they did a Mima Colada. So a lot of people know them because of their milkshake IPAs, which obviously they have other styles as well that they do well. So that kind of brought them in the spotlight for their beer. But realistically, what people actually go there for is Luther. The cat.
My best bud.
So that's really like, you can even like, there's a website / newspaper out of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin that highlights the cat and literally has like videos of the cat.
Ugh.
Like, it's everywhere. It's been on Cats of Instagram. It's been on like,
he is an absolute delight. During my brief visit where I ran in and took my 7-year-old to the bathroom, I came out and my 7-year-old very timidly asked if he could pet the cat who was sitting on the bar at the time.
Yep.
And everybody moved out of the way.
Aww.
And he went over, and he was the friendliest, sweetest cat.
Yep.
Like, just like rubbed up against my little kid's hands and let him pet him and like hop down onto the stool so he could
they put
pet him.
saucers of water up on the bar actually for the cat.
That's great.
So the cat, Luther, the brewery cat, so they opened in 2015. In 2016, they were like, we've got all these barley and wheat, total magnet for mice. So they actually headed over to a local rescue to find a cat. And the rescue was like, we don't really want to adopt a cat to a business. We want to adopt a cat to a forever home. And this cat, they didn't think was adoptable. Didn't like people. Didn't seem like it was a good option to be adopted. So they were like, okay, you can take the cat. So in 2016, Luther was brought on to be a mouser at the brewery, and quickly began to stray from his assigned duties and just wandered into the tap room, demanding to be petted, and warmed up very much to all of the
attention,
the customers. And now I guess they actually have to ration the treats that they give them, because otherwise he would be like 100 pounds, because there's so many people come in just to like, they bring toys to the cat and they come really just for the cat. So while their beers are excellent, the cat is really the big main attraction here.
That's so
he's
funny.
The entertainment for the brewery.
I love it.
And they can still have a cat because they don't have food,
right?
So otherwise it would be against guidelines.
It's a health
but
code
they
thing,
do not have food. They will put the cat in the back if anybody is allergic or has any issues. And essentially the cat really just does what it wants. So if it wants to be petted, it'll go over to you and be petted. If it doesn't, it'll go somewhere and just take a nap. Like, it lives at the brewery, and he does his own thing. And so
when I was growing up, we had a cat at my dad's business. My father's business is called the Sign Stop. That's what my brother and I run now. And we one of the employees found a cat. On his way to work, and just like brought the cat to work,
left it there,
and she just became the Sign Stop cat, and so we named her Sign Spot.
I was gonna say, didn't you have a cat named Spot? Okay,
yes.
Yeah,
and that was her, and she was the Sign Stop cat for a really long time, and I was just a child at the time and kept asking my dad to bring the cat home because I wanted to be with her. And so eventually she became our home cat.
I remember Spot. I totally remember that.
Yep. Yeah, she was a good cat. We occasionally talk about getting a cat at the shop again, just for fun. But I think that we're at the point where it might not be wise, because we just have like so much equipment and there's so much stuff in the shop, and we would definitely lose the poor thing. And I'm just afraid that would
it'll get stuck somewhere. It's not.
And I would just hear like meowing at the distance, and we won't know where it's coming.
Where'd the cat go? Where'd the cat go?
We got to spend the day looking for the cat.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I feel like that's probably not the best.
Well, and there aren't a lot of like Like the doors, the exits to the outside of the building are like too easy to get in and out. Not that the cat could open a door, but there's too often that times doors are open.
So the cat could run out.
And
easily.
Would definitely run out.
Yeah. So Luther likes the brewery and is going to stick it out there, and clearly became a people cat.
Yeah, I guess.
At the time, they didn't think that he was good with people. So
yeah, I think he changed his plans on that.
Yes, very, very,
very
quickly.
fast.
So so that's
good for him.
So beer and cats.
Beer and cats. Why don't more breweries have cats? We're going to have to discuss. We should add that to the questions.
Yeah, there's a lot actually that have some sort of. There's a well, you look for breweries with cats.
Oh, yes, I feel very strongly about this matter. But because Off Color has cats at the brewery. Yes, I have a very niche fascination with cat-themed brewery wear.
Yes.
And have collected quite a few cat
Anyone
shirts.
who knows of any breweries that have cat merch, let us know.
Yes, I'm very interested. I did post in the beer group once and get some responses. I should go back and look at that, though, because Windmill was on the list, and it took me a while, obviously, to get there.
Yeah, so maybe there's others.
I did wear my Luther shirt the other day for this last Saturday, Catterday, if you will. I always wear a cat shirt on Saturdays, as should we all. And
my daughter wore, I think it was actually on Friday because she wore it to school. It's a cat DJ. So it's a cat.
Nice.
It's a shirt with a cat that's a DJ. Yeah,
I like
she
that.
Really
I
likes
like
the
that.
Cat. She really likes that.
That's
cat
really
shirt.
good. My son has one where the cat is dabbing.
Okay. Yeah.
That's great.
Also, my daughter's ugly Christmas sweater 2 years in a row has been cat themed.
I have a really good ugly cat Christmas sweater that's got a cat on it, and he's shooting flames. I think it's out of his paws. I'm not sure. I'm gonna wear it this Christmas. Nice. I didn't wear it last Christmas because there was nothing. Well, we're gonna talk about why.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's actually the perfect transition.
Right. Segue.
So let's go back down the deep dark road that is the last 20 months.
Say it like that.
I know I don't like that we're over 18 months, and I have to say more than 8. See, when I was saying 18 months there, it wasn't so bad. But now we're coming up on 2 years, and I want to, freak out.
Yeah.
We're coming up on Christmas, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In this bad place that we've moved to from the medium place that we were in before. Mm-hmm. And I just, So let's kind of... I'm gonna go through my history through this whole. This is the timeline that I've lived in.
All right.
So back in the beginning, it was
the
Zoom
bad place, yes.
Easter.
Yes.
Zoom
Same.
Easter.
We
right?
did that too.
And it's funny because I think I mentioned this on a previous episode. It might have been the trust episode, where we allowed my son to try wine.
Oh,
he was then 8, now is 10. We let him taste some wine at Easter in our house. We're not going anywhere. Everyone's home. We're not going anywhere.
Right, literally at the time.
Ever.
Yeah.
And we let him taste some wine. And it was literally the first thing he said in the family Zoom. We were like, hey, don't say anything, all right? Because, we don't know how other people feel about that. And we just, a taste, a sip,
literally a taste, yeah.
And I refuse to be judged for that. So you guys can bring it on, but it doesn't matter.
No, I don't care.
And Lauren doesn't care. No. And that's important to me. So... yeah, it was the first thing he said, though. Yeah. I remember it specifically. I remember after the Zoom was over, going into hhis room and just being like, I just want you to know that I will never trust you ever again. And he was just like, whoa, what?
You're like, we literally, the one thing. You had one
betrayed
job.
me. You betrayed me. That's what happened here.
All right, so Zoom Easter.
Zoom Easter. By summer, it was drive-by birthday party for my son.
Yeah.
And we spent outside time with my brother's family, but limited.
Sure.
And even when we were outside, we wore masks, mostly because my father has some health issues. We were all kind of trying to avoid any issues. Plus, that was early enough that they still weren't really sure what being outside, was about.
Yep.
But we did let my kids our kids, my brother's kids and his, swim together in the pool and kind of be around each other. And honestly, it was definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
We only did it a couple of times.
But it was something that they looked forward to because they were stuck.
Because we were
stuck.
so
isolated.
Yeah.
For sure.
And worked really hard to be isolated for two reasons. One was my father, and one was also my now 7-year-old, who kind of developed a lot of anxiety over being around people through this whole situation, which has kind of started to resurface a little bit, which I love. I was not prepared for. So then fall 2020 rolls around, and we just everybody disappeared, because I'm sure you remember that was when everyone got COVID.
Yeah, my husband did. My brother did.
Yes. It was just fall.
Right around Halloween in my family.
Boom.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody got it. And so my family, we just disappeared from each other's lives entirely. I saw my brother at work because we worked together.
Yep.
But I think we may have gone over 8 weeks without being together in any sort of capacity.
Okay.
We dropped Thanksgiving dinner off at my parents' house. We ordered from a food truck, and they met us at my parents' house, and we split the food. We gave my parents food, and then we went home and we ate. But that was it for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My brother was gone. I mean, they went to his house in Michigan, I think.
Yeah.
We saw our in-laws for Christmas and did a brief gift exchange. This is Christmas 2020.
Yeah.
We didn't see my brother's family. This was during the 8-week period where we didn't see him. My sister-in-law, who is a physician, was dealing with a lot of patients who were testing positive at the time. And so she was really
hesitant
at
to
risk,
see. Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think was really concerned about being around too many people.
Yeah.
There was even conversations at one point. My brother's kids were sent home from school and weren't in the building, about my brother taking the kids and going to their house in Michigan and leaving her.
Yeah.
Because she was so concerned
about people.
And I was just
it,
you can't leave her alone. You can't do that. You can't leave her. That would be terrible. I was like, I will have to go to your house every other day and just sit in the garage with her and talk to her.
That would be so isolating.
I know.
Even more so than we already are. Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine that. They didn't do that, thankfully.
Yeah.
By this last summer, things were semi-normal. You know, all the adults were vaccinated.
Yes.
So we definitely felt more comfortable as a result.
Yeah.
And we basically, with my family, were just sort of we're going to let the kids be together.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a break. Everybody needs some normalcy.
Yes, agreed.
And that's when it's going to happen. We had my older son's 10th birthday party at the public pool.
Yeah.
And we made it a rather...
we went.
large affair.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It was outside. It was nice. It was,
It was kind of, I gotta say, not to toot my own horn, it was easily one of the best birthday parties I've ever thrown.
Yeah, no, it was great.
It was
Everybody had
easy and fun, and it was a big space, so everybody was happy and comfortable.
Nobody was on top of each other.
Yeah, we just had cupcakes. We didn't serve chips and drinks if you wanted it. And so everyone just took their cupcake home.
Yep. No,
which was the whole plan.
Things, anything.
Nobody spit on anyone's food. Yep. Blowing out candles.
It's weird now, right? Birthday parties even. I'm jumping in, but we got together for a girlfriend's, or we were getting together with some girlfriends, and it was one of their birthday parties. And without even thinking, I went to put candles on the cake because it was just habit. And it's we don't do this anymore.
We don't do that.
But it's
don't
so
spit on the food.
Weird. Yeah. It was just habit. That's it's a birthday. That's what you do.
When my now 7-year-old, when he turned 7, it was back in February. So we were all kind of sort of starting to come out little bit.
Yeah.
But we did go to my brother's house and have birthday cake. And we put the candles on the cake and we had a little fan, a little hand fan. And he just
that's not a bad idea.
Fanned him out.
But yeah,
we did have one of those little blower things too, like a squeeze ball thing that he that was more challenging, which I think actually was more fun. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we did not blow out candles.
We've been doing cupcakes more.
Yeah.
So for my kids, when you came to my kids' birthday party, we just did cupcakes.
Yeah.
So
that's what we did for my oldest.
Yeah.
And like I said, they were great, and everybody had a great time, and it was a really enjoyable event. There was no stress.
No, it was
great.
It
was nice to have like a semi-normal activity.
Yes.
Where the kids got to socialize, where my son got to be around some of his classmates too, which was not something that happened this school year because my kids were home most of the school year.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that was really nice. Even though things are kind of sketchy right now, it's sort of getting that direction a little bit. We're kind of staying where we're at when it comes to our attitude about things. We're still kind of seeing family. We're getting together for Thanksgiving. We're going to my brother's house in Michigan.
Oh yeah,
his in-laws are in town.
Nice.
You know, I think everybody's sort of in the position now where we sort of feel like we're comfortable with each other.
Yes.
And as a result, we're gonna enjoy the time we have together. Yeah. And just take it for what it is.
Yeah. And hope you're fine. Yeah.
We hope you're fine.
Yeah. We 2020, we shut down and did nothing. Well, we did my kids are all born in May. So we did invite like a couple of people over for their birthdays, even in 2020, but we sat outside in the driveway and we played a movie and everybody sat like separate. And
that's not a bad activity,
own,
though. I mean,
like space and their own chairs and their own things, and so we just did that. And we didn't go in the house. We didn't intermingle. Like we didn't do any of that. Like I remember driving by my parents' house for my dad's birthday and like having a sign that said like "Happy Birthday, Grandpa."
I hated that, by the way.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah,
that was my least favorite. I went to a couple drive-by birthday parties. Yeah, and honestly, I just like cried.
Yeah, seriously, it almost felt worse to me. Like I'd rather almost not do anything. But
depressing.
Yeah,
we didn't do it for my now 7-year-old when he turned 7 because he's only had one birthday during this whole mess because obviously, as you recall, his birthday party was the inciting incident,
literally
right for the pandemic.
Yes, that was the last thing that we did.
Real thing anybody did was go to my son's birthday party. But when he turned 7, we didn't do anything. We didn't do the drive. We did do the birthday cake with my brother's family, and we actually rented a movie theater.
Oh, nice!
And just invited my brother's family. Yeah. Like you're allowed to invite 20 or 30 people depending on the theater, and we just didn't. We just invited my brother's family,
and you can easily distance from that.
Yeah.
We did Zoom Easter last year. I don't think we actually did anything for Thanksgiving. So my husband worked on Thanksgiving, and I don't know if we did anything. We did get together with my parents for Christmas. At that point, my brother and my husband had already had COVID, so they were both kind of like, well, and my brother travels, and my husband's a paramedic, so we were like, you're the risky people. Yeah. You've literally already had it. Right. So we kind of were like, well, the rest of us don't do anything. We work at home, we sit at home, we don't go anywhere. Like, you got it. The rest of us are probably fine. So we did get together with just literally my immediate family, and there's no other kids. My kids are the only kids. Right. So it's just my brother and my parents. So we did do that for Christmas, and then, didn't really do much. We did not normally. Our Christmas is like 30 people. Right. So we get together with my mom, my mom's brothers, and all of their kids and grandkids. And there's a lot of us. And so none of us, I haven't seen them in almost 2 years now, probably. Wow. And we are not getting together for this Christmas. Yeah. So we're getting together with my brother and his girlfriend and my parents and it's just my mother-in-law and her husband. There's no other kids. Brandon doesn't have any other siblings, so it's just us. So it's relatively small still. But my cousin one of my cousins is vaccinated. Her family is. Her brother is not, and she will not be around anyone who's not vaccinated. And he had significant cardiac issues, and so he's not vaccinated because he had a heart attack at like 30 years old. Like he was in the hospital for a long time. Like his cardiologist is hesitant to have him get it because of underlying issues. Sure. So they have not seen each other in 2 years and won't see each other probably
for
until
the foreseeable
who
future.
Knows.
Right.
So my aunt's like, I can't pick and choose which of my kids have at the holidays.
That's terrible.
So we're just not going to do anything. And I was like,
man.
you know what? We're just going to do it at my house. So I haven't seen my cousins in 2 years. Like, you know, I haven't been around them. And that's who we would do Easter and Christmas with every year.
Well, and you bring up a really interesting point, and I don't want to dwell too long on it because I think it could go either way. But I think a lot about that. You know, how do you handle that situation where you have people who feel strongly one way or another about being vaccinated, and how do you handle that? And you know, it's funny. I thought about it a lot because you told me that story before when we saw each other. And then around exactly that same time, I'm a Packers fan, and Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Packers, tested positive for COVID, and there was this whole thing about him being unvaccinated.
Controversy, blah, blah, blah,
And the reason I bring it up is not to weigh in on his decision or whatever he said or did, but to point out that he said he did not get vaccinated because he had an allergy to an ingredient in the vaccine, and his doctor suggested he not get it. And it doesn't matter whether that's the truth or a lie. It's something to think about. And when I was a child, I had a reaction to a vaccine because I was allergic to something in it and suffered from that for a long time. And I didn't really give it a thought when the opportunity to get vaccinated came up. In fact, I don't know if you recall, but on the consent form, it asks you if you've ever had a reaction to a vaccine. And I looked at that question and I just went, nope. And they jabbed me with the needle. And I went on with my life. And I lived. Thank goodness.
Clearly, yes.
But I can tell you that now, in retrospect, if I had sat down with my doctor and said, here's the vaccine I reacted to, and here's the new vaccine, and if my doctor had said, there are some similarities here, maybe you should not get vaccinated, I wonder the reaction I would get from friends and loved ones. And I've kind of surveyed some people, and there's a very mixed reaction. I've had people say they would not be around me. That they would not be around me because it doesn't matter. That was your choice. You didn't get vaccinated, but I can't be around you right now. Okay. All right.
That's your choice. I mean, sure.
I got it.
Yeah.
I've had other people, and some of them are closer, family, say that the whole point of a vaccine is to protect people who can't be protected. A lot of it. I mean, that's why we're vaccinating our children now, because it's not that my kid is going to get sick and die from this. It's that they're not going to spread it, potentially, if they're vaccinated. And so the reason why they would get vaccinated is just like why they get vaccinated for the flu. Because the odds of them passing it are lower if they're vaccinated.
And, like, we're not going to get my oldest vaccinated. He has cardiac problems. He's epileptic. He's got a ton of medical issues to begin with.
There's
zero chance
too many factors.
But a lot of other kids around him will be, and that will protect him too, there.
And that is what I have come to expect with people with the vaccine that I did not finish, you know, that I do not have immunity for. And there have been occasions with my children who are vaccinated against that exact same thing, where I had an occasion when my kids were in preschool where one of them had a classmate who came down with the thing that I am not vaccinated against. And I kind of freaked out. I was kind of like, what? Well, I'm not going to that school. I can't go there. You know. But I rely on herd immunity, which is like what the whole point is.
Because the vast majority of other people will be vaccinated against it.
And so it's an interesting thought because you bring that up with your family gathering, and it makes me think about how, you know, we've reached the point now in general where we're comfortable being around the people we care about the most, the people we are the closest to. And I want to say, I believe that if somebody in my family was unvaccinated, it would not impact my decision to be around them because I would be protecting them by being vaccinated. I mean,
I can say that 100%. My brother is not vaccinated.
Right. Yeah.
And he had COVID. He was one of the first people I knew actually who had COVID. And he is not vaccinated and doesn't have any plans to get vaccinated for whatever reasons. But literally everyone else in my immediate family is. My parents actually just had COVID. They're vaccinated too.
Right.
They likely had lesser symptoms because of it, which is great because they're older and both have underlying health conditions.
Sure.
So they may not have done as well if they hadn't had been.
Sure.
But I'm not going to not see my brother because he's not vaccinated. Now, I will say that my cousin's wife is pregnant. And her doctor told her to try and limit the number of people that you're around that aren't vaccinated. So she is not coming to Christmas.
Sure. Okay.
Which is fine. I'm totally fine with that decision. The interesting part is her husband's coming, so what's the difference? Like,
right?
So I get it. I respect that decision. That's totally fine. She's also a first grade teacher, so like
I mean, is she vaccinated?
I don't know actually.
So okay, we're going kind of the
totally
direction
off,
that I don't really want to go, but I will say that. And maybe forgive me if I sound completely naive, but I thought that I got the vaccine so that I wouldn't get very ill.
Right.
In addition to protecting other people, of course.
Yeah,
but
but I also like my parents. In theory,
I would really rather not
ill.
get super sick. And so they're like, "Oh, there's a really good chance you won't get sick if you get this vaccine."
So
and I was just like, "Okay, let's do it."
Yeah, I got it. I made my husband get it. He didn't want to get it, partially because he already had COVID, and he was like, I don't need this. And I was like, just get the stupid shot. And he was like, fine.
It's not going to kill you.
And so he got it because I pushed him. But I mean, like, whatever. He's fine. But yeah, so I definitely will be around family who don't have it. I'm vaccinated, and my parents and my husband and blah, blah, blah. Clearly there's people in my family who are not okay with that, so we are not seeing them, and I don't know when we'll see them again, frankly. Now, I don't know how I feel about that, though, because I kind of like just not leaving my house on Christmas Day.
I've heard this feeling from other people. So what I will point out is that for me, we're at the point where things are kind of back to normal because we didn't really spend holidays with extended
family. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we saw my husband's close family, his parents and his sister's family, and we saw my close family, my parents and my brother's family. And
that was really it.
We almost never saw anybody else. Now, there have been a couple of relatives that we used to like meet out for dinner when they would come into town.
Sure.
One of them is my mom's cousin, and I know, for example, that he is unvaccinated, and my concern is that he has a lot of risks for getting very, very sick from this, and I worry about getting him sick.
Yeah.
I don't worry about him getting me sick.
Right.
I'm hesitant because I worry, he's just got a lot of health issues that could really kind of make things go the wrong way. And it's not that I refuse to be around him. And honestly, I've not been presented with this because I have not been invited to go out for a meal with him.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would hesitate because I don't want to take chances.
For him,
my kids are in school, okay?
Yep.
And if anyone's going to bring home illness,
it's going to be a kid.
Who brought home illness before all of this?
All the children. Literally the children. Little germ mongers.
I bring up all the time how before all this happened, at my job, if one person got sick, like no one else caught it.
Yeah, because
that didn't happen before. So it didn't.
Yeah.
I could be at my desk with 105 fever, barely staying conscious, and coughing everywhere. And
you'd still be at work.
Yes, of course I would, because the alternative is being at home with my children.
Yeah, so fair.
And I can't die with them.
Yeah, no,
I have to die at my desk, like a brave mother.
Right? Yeah.
But okay, that was extreme. But I could be ill and be at work, and in the past, it never spread at my job.
Yeah.
once in a great while, my brother and I would get each other sick because we would have lunch together and things like that.
Yeah.
But I never remember a time where
it, like,
I got
spread
sick
through work.
or someone else got sick at work, and then a few days later, someone else got sick at work, and then a few days later, someone else got.
Yeah,
that
but
didn't
when
happen
somebody
before.
gets sick in a second grade class,
Oh,
they all get it.
oh yes, oh yes. I mean,
literally all of them.
And it's funny because I don't know if this has happened with you with your kids, but even with everything that we've been doing, my kids have still had illness since going back to school.
Us too. Yeah.
And I mean, nothing serious.
No sniffles or like
a scratchy throat for a day or two, runny nose. My 10-year-old has had a stuffy nose. Yeah. My 10-year-old has had a stuffy nose for like 3 months.
Yeah, it just goes from allergies to flu season, and the kids are just sick like all the time. Yeah. So my children have had so many COVID tests, not because I think they have COVID, but because I want them to go to school.
I know, right?
So if they get a negative test, they can go to school. So okay, great. CVS is getting all my money. Like...
I have never moved as quickly as I moved when I had to get my son a negative COVID result to go back to school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You get that.
They were
as
like,
fast as you can.
oh, he needs a negative PCR test to return to school.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I like surveyed the people around me who had to already do that because I had not had to get my kid tested. Okay. This was the first time.
We have, yeah.
So,
we got them all tested because Brandon had it.
Well, you have to remember, my kids weren't in school for a very long time. So there was a very big period of time where we weren't tested
just
because
at home.
We
you didn't have any exposure to anything.
Yeah. But my son had to be tested, and I like surveyed a couple of people, and they were like, "Oh, you should just go to my medical group, the same one that you use, and put in your doctor has to write the order for you to go there, though." So I called because I was like, I don't know what the easiest. Do I have to do like a video visit or whatever? Yeah. And I called and I was like, my son needs a PCR test in order to be cleared to go back to school should he test negative or whatever. And she was like, oh, okay. Okay, I put the order in. And that was it.
That was it.
And I was like, do I have to make an appointment or anything? And she's like, nope. You just go to the drive up, the location in Lyle. You pull up, they do the thing.
They put the swab, here you go.
And you get results, and they're like, in 24 to 48 hours. I got my son's tested at 8:15 on Tuesday morning and at 2:45 on Tuesday afternoon. I had a negative test result.
They're getting good at this.
I called the school. My kids get out of school normally at 3:15. I called the school at 3:00. I said, my son tested negative. I've emailed you the results.
Yep. He'll be in school tomorrow.
And they were just like, cool.
Yeah.
My son had 7 classmates sent home when he was sent home. They quarantined, or they sent home 8 kids in addition to the person who tested positive.
Wow.
And he was the only one who came back the next
because
day.
You were on top of it.
Yeah. And I think only one other kid came back that same week.
Oh.
By Friday. He was sent home on a Monday.
Wow.
Most of them came back just today, which is the following Monday.
So I did find out that even with an exposure, my school will do a COVID test at the nurse.
Yeah.
And send you back to class. Yeah. They just started that, though.
Okay. So my school district, the last thing I heard was if you're symptomatic, they will test you at school.
They will do that if you're symptomatic as well. But I only know this because my son's friend was an exposure, and he got tested at school, and then they let him stay at school. So that was the following day. Or the mom could have taken them and gone wherever. But so this is dumb. So he was supposed to get tested or quarantined. They let him ride the bus the next day to go to school, to go to the nurse to get tested.
What?
Yeah, I know. It makes no sense, right? At all?
No.
Even kind of?
I thought it was a little weird that my school district allowed my son to come to school on that Monday. And I guess that probably has to do with when they were notified about the student who tested positive. And because I'm fuzzy on the timeline.
when the timeline is. Yeah.
Because they called me at like noon on the Monday.
Oh, to come get him.
They were like, you need to come and get your kid. And I was just like, okay, but you guys have to understand I work in Oaklawn. And my husband works as far as I do now. Because he used to work a lot closer.
Right, but
so it's on me. I got to come get him. Yep. And I like ran around the shop for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then left. And I picked him up by 1. But it took me almost an hour.
Yeah, it wouldn't
and I felt
me.
So bad. I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm going to be a while.
Yeah.
And they were just like, it's okay.
It is what it is. But yeah, it's definitely interesting now. But yeah, I don't know if I like or don't like the, hey, we're just going to sit at home in our pajamas on the holidays thing now. Or because my kids are the only kids amongst our immediate family. So, all right, let's drink.
I guess that's kind of a
beer.
downside.
Yeah. So,
okay,
all right.
Peaches and memes.
Ooh.
Obviously, I think it's got peaches in it, you guys, but it is a milkshake IPA.
Yep, milkshake IPA.
It smells like peaches.
Dude, it smells like Peachios. It tastes like peaches. It tastes like a subtle peach, though.
Yeah,
like it's not a in-your-face like peach candy. It's like an actual peach flavor.
Yeah, it doesn't have like we used to remember that who was it? Lil Beaver had that peach rings.
Yeah, it was peach rings, yeah.
And that was much more like sugary candy flavored
for sure.
Than this, which is
this tastes like peaches.
More
like
straight up peach flavor.
Like an actual like taste peach.
Yeah.
If you would eat a peach, this is what this. And I actually really like the flavor. I like that it's not super in your face, super sugary.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's got I feel like the peach is almost on the aftertaste more than up front.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I see that.
Yeah, no, this is, I mean, it's not, so sometimes milkshake IPAs, if they have like a lot like lactose in them, are too milky for me.
Yes.
Too heavy.
Yeah.
And this to me really isn't. It's much lighter.
I think that the peach flavor really helps with that, because I find that I experience that a lot more with like strawberry and blueberry. More naturally sweet fruits seem to kind of like get overpowered by the lactose more.
Maybe. Okay.
Even orange milkshake sometimes.
Yeah.
I just feel like it can be a little too
heavy,
like
too something.
Teeth hurty. Like it's just like too milky, sugary.
Yeah, it's like a milk sugar. It's like a it's like a horchata beer. Like it's very heavier, sugary. This is not that at all. This is actually a really tasty. It's still fruity. You get a lot of peach, but it's not that heavy, super sweet, sugary, thick milkshake, which I don't love actually.
Right.
Like this is it's a really nice light milkshake IPA to me, and it's got a great peach like it tastes like a natural flavor, not a fake candy flavor, which some of them are.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was getting at as well. I mean, like you get that, like instead of just orange, it's like creamsicle, and instead of like peach, it's like peach candy. And instead of like you know, these other flavors,
it's the candy or the
sometimes that's less ideal.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
This tastes very natural.
Yeah, I actually really like it.
Me too. This is good.
Yeah, no, very good. I mean, so far I really
Windmill,
really liking Windmill.
Knocking it out of the park. You got great beer and you got that kitty cat that I'm gonna visit again.
All
someday.
good things. All good things. So awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna finish up my beer and that's it.
Call
I
it.
think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us once again, you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week, and cheers to you all.